the emergence. It's not emergency, the emergence. Hajine Adoshi. I'm not talking about a long time ago, last week in Daga. Long time ago, 100 years ago in Daga. Now, way back, I heard elders say, Di de Hoden Hesbod Jishiki, Le Hadashi Hudeya. Ada Hudeyada Di Ayon Spohaishin Hitlikas Nahandan. The head of this big beast that we've been following, the body, the feet, the legs, we're barely at the tail end, way over here. That's all we're able to see and recognize within this short lifespan that we have. The rest of these stories have already been created, already went through, and we're just way over here. Done. So the emergence, Siki Hajine Ada Hanne, Josi Ko Bada Hanne, Rajin, Eshi Ado Hazlin, Rajin, it's also so. Ada Yasin is at Sapiyaj, Woj, Eshi Ajes, Nido Kodet Nahoj, Shipping Akebig, Hina Hajish Lege, Eshi Ita. But tonight, my emphasis is not on the emergence. It's what happened post the emergence. To give it a timeline, this beast that was way over there, I'm talking about the very tip of that nose. This other section that's huge and goes back this way to where we're at in Taka. I'm talking way over there. Ishi with that. Akoita Ishi O. There was no light at then. Oshin da there was just evidence of mist. There's just evidence of very non-distinct images and life forms. Ishi with that. Eshi the chosh, the hadon the yindin eshi, the lead and I tell my students this, these, that was the chosh that you see outside in the spring, summertime. They're not how they were way back then. They were different forms. And in our mind we cannot understand that. But they were. They came to that form that we understand. And this visual representation, there was various beings, holy beings, in that space and time. They said it was destroyed by fire. Oh, your beds, there was some that were given, but overall, that was destroyed by fire. The questions are that depending upon your clan, the stories will vary right there. From what I understand, they got destroyed by fire. So, the journey began. The journey begins. In that world, they had various animals beside the insects that went up. Ado na taki sidi dat ehi shi da hadlam mai dat ehi mai so my soda egi, ado nashtui paha, ado mai paha, dada teya, dolida egi, ishi adana deda. There was different types of animals in life during that time. Ishi without is day. Ako, hodingo has hatest in test, alat wasn't delto, chinda delto, hakazinda delto, Ishi bay. Each time there was a disagreement. Doshi hajo, askifna anish, doshi hajo, achayati. Ako, what is somewhere there's always a disagreement. There was no conflict resolution. You kind of think about these stories and think back. Over here. So that tornado didn't. They usually are way away, hundreds of miles away, but some almost came onto the reservation and some did over here in northern Navajo because of disagreements that's happening. They always say history happens and you learn from it. You should learn from it because it can reoccur. It should be hanagi without a shaw. But during that time was probably the first time that they heard that. That's what destroyed that world. There's different more animals over there. At the same time, I guess they were bringing, I guess you could say, other life forms up. And they encounter different ones here. But then that male and female, again, disagreement. Male to one side, female to one side. Ishi they the coyote took that water monster's babies, took them. The water began to rise. Oh no, they had to quickly react and quickly take action on what was going to happen and how they were going to live in the next, because they had experience moving from one place to another. A big migration. She put the whole team. Ado dide kaji. Ishi ado lana yish nan seda ehgi na dash gay chilna da besh khani da ehgi ado sada te na yiz e besh khani wo yajne ado di pasto chilna todo e not kushin at e na yish chidi ante ayom de asti nana akoshi. This is kind of our heritage, our lineage. Hadeshi khoji Quahashi or Jishida, they look at social people that the Kretoha Shinde, Hale, or they tried different ones that could pierce the Kodoshin, Ketakato Kojin, but the Kapo. Ishi, Winesh, the Eya, it's Zajin. He did his, I guess it's a wonderful act of kindness and love for him to do what he did to come up and allow us to be on this earth. If you go in depth, it's going to take a lot of time. Like I said, I'm only going to on the very bottom, the very tip of this. Mainly, there was a lot of water. Once they pierced this earth, it went through if you can imagine, maybe just a plain desolate area that didn't really have anything. It was really nice and green and meadows and everything was all around. This part, everything was like all scattered all over because it once had water. I know when the water came back down, everything was kind of at a ruin. And at that time, I guess it was kind of dark and scary. Back there, before we came up, Flint Boys. It's not a Korean rock group. When they hit those flint on that rock, they put on these kitchen in the night that begin to bounce off all the image, and some of that image would kind of go up into the dark sky. To see those in that sky. Before that, they hit dead. So he saw the sparks fly into the night sky and it lit up. And that's where the inspiration flowed. That's Adashi. That's when they began to think, it would be nice to have something like that. She, Jinn, di hanagi kwasa lahagi bezishtan nishti di tsekdish benana di benana ben yegi uta ada khayga ya benana khayga winter time. This is a winter time game because some of what you do here is a representation of the thunder. When they are out of respect for them, It's only going to be played in the time that they are not on earth. This image is what they saw in the third world, the yellow world, where the waters flow together. I remember some of my elders, one of my late grandpas used to say that. There's a spot that really is underground water flow. They talk about aquifers, yeah. And the understanding of how our native waters, our clean, pristine waters are important. It's not really what we see here. There's 3 counters that they have. They tap it here, and they let it go. Those split boys, they were doing that. And that's what they saw that was in the sky. For them here, they count it as counters. How do they begin here? And they move in that direction. If they, what's that roll? But if they land on 2, they did move 2 spaces all the way around. But it's in the anti. What's that? A call. The actually now Ajaba Yada Honey. A call. They back to this white world. The white world. This world was, like I said, scary and dark. There was no light. Ocean. It was just like almost evening time. It wasn't really one or the other. Black God, they say, don't so. Bright star beam, don't so. The flip people. Quiet, she is key Christian. Quiet, she said they did stuff. They did stuff. She the first fire was that crystal fire. It represents the spirit of spirituality, your spiritual image, your spiritual self. Now you talk about science with students. You talk about science with students. How can you create a fire with something that you can see through? They're using magnifying glass. They had that ability to use that crystal to beam a light source through it, to concentrate on one source and add fuel. Nowadays, I see Fort Hogan, Edania, Ida Edada, Tatshe Astisne, Navajo, their Hogan, Tatshe, Batudoje, the Navajo Asati, the Yida, Aji, Ishi, Listen, India. Hayanaya, Vanathanakes, the Yama, Nidia. They had to think and put an idea forth. So it could become a thought, it could become a plan, it could become an action, it could become a source of motivation, a goal for themselves. Aiden, Ejikwa, the net, the Tache da Yila, Tache Hiji, Kuji to Isan, Ekuja Bavana da Yitla, Eshi Havana Mazit, E Aja Ekonki, Banadi, E Asati Bakana, E Ana da Yitla. Ado Hashi Hojishne, the Hojota. They could never coin put your class naked, not a flag of it, they had to put it together. It didn't work. They had to put some type of authority figure right there, and that was when that's when that fire started. There had to be a male aspect, there had to be a female aspect, duality, aliyah. Once they put that in there, then they have that ability to light that when they should not. Those are the main indicators of what is to be in life. We just didn't pick it up. It's as easy as this. So, we've come a long way in this big beast that we've ridden. How did it come? So now, we're looking at that. Fire becomes a big indicator or impact on D-Dehanet. It's around that it's seen, it's around that it happens. Edi halananat edone padone. Dikwa zilita done. Lady zilina halana ewanada done. Ishi wanada tsa. We're going to have a home. We're going to meet within these mountains. Then it's there's 4 rivers that surround our lands. Adahavan bigilok nana. Adahana shine. The Quishins is this class A. Dort is your grade shittabashini. The turquoise, the white shell, the coral, the black jet, the crystals. It's shitting. Put them out right here in that hole. I think he remembered those sparks that flew in the sky that made a great impact. We're going to do this. It's going to be this way. We started putting their plan together. There's fire that has power. That's an old spirit way back. That one is going to indicate something for us, a direction for us, for our people. No cost go this, but don't need. Put it and set it up there. Need the north sky. That's order on net. Sometimes nowadays they say, shishik eti, I want my way, I want my plan, it has to be that way. It didn't work because of those agreements that they had went through in the lower worlds. So when they came up to this world, they had to understand the way we did things have to change. I can't have a me, shishiketi kind of way. We have to all agree. They had to come together as a consensus and then, I guess, kind of vote it in. What's going to be our next one? Attest Kishi. Ship or they. So they put stars up there. They don't cross the Quran, just to the side of it. So it's funny. So there is about 11, 12 stars up there. 7 of them represent the Big Dipper. Above it, there's another 4 that's up there. That represents the horse, his feather that's up there. All the way through, you can see it. If you look at a Western astronomy type of calendar, you're just going to see the 7 stars that big looking at. The next day, you take those lines off, and it represents the human and the feather of that. Hastin. It's a hastin. No, it's going to be the northern male spirit. Why? Well, I don't need you. I am a father. I represent a home. I'm going to represent the male. I'm going to represent the father, the grandfather, the nani, the uncles, the male cousins, the male brothers, their spirit. I want to represent them. My duty is to take care of that fire in that home. Me and his male spirit's going to have to bring wood back for that. To keep it alive, to keep that spirit going. And just like a home, it's going to be centered, it's not going to move. It's going to stay in one place. It's going to be a direction. Whenever you are lost on earth, you're going to remember that. Be honest. Look up. Pray to me. Remember that. And you're going to find your way. We have trainers that can be moved one place to another. He died. Way back then. Please. It says, five stars for her up there, represent female. The spirit of the female. But it's not that one she, but not just one net, but is it, but not just. The man went up there. He's up there, he needs help. His fire is up there. I'm going to help keep that fire lit. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an auntie. I have a responsibility to overlook my children on earth. I have a responsibility to look at my children over the universe, on earth, in earth, above, and beyond. I'm going to be that spirit of a female that's up there that remembers that. Is she? What's that? That's why they were put up there. That stays in one. The connection of that fire, it's always in the north. It's situated above the North Pole, Jeanette. nasa ashni gille de khop de chitne ada bahanti takonan le khojo le so the sun aja bahanti jin behashzi. That's our backbone that has a tie into the center of this earth, where we know that there's flame and fire based off of science. We have volcanoes, we have eruptions. Flame comes out of the ground. We know that's situated down there, and it goes up through that hole up there, all the way up to the center of the universe. Our center of the universe is that one that comes up every morning. That sun is situated there, Jinn. That's the connection there. That's how we don't say, Ya, Nahola. It's going to be the end of the world. That fire was lit many years ago. And it's still lit today. And it's still going to be lit and be here long after. There was a sheep, a little boy, like a round ball. Wow, it's really bright, it's really hot. How do we do this? Where do we put it? How do I do this? We'll put you up there. This is your daughter. Is she on the body? It's your name. A white ball. It wasn't as bright as the first one. There's going to be a time this earth gets dark. So that became the spirit of the moon. Then that sun, when it comes up, it doesn't travel for free. It doesn't gather frequent flyer miles. He said, my fee is going to be one life. One life. A life of a human. That's what it costs for me to go from A to B, all the way around. He had a horse that was made. He traveled on that. If that spirit of that son's going to take a life, I'm going to give a life. I'm going to create life on this earth. Every time I come out and lay there, within these months, the 12th month, and every so often the 13th month that comes around, it's going to bring life. It has when it becomes a full moon, and when it's the first quarter crescent moon, you'll see that represents the change in the month. There's so much in there. All that information and history is right in the palm of your hand. If you count all of these right here, your right side, there's a joint right here. The Quishan. How many joints? 10, 1, 6, 7. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 bands here. Once it becomes Tahiti, that's one other Kujit. 14 days, on the 15th day. Other Kujit, 14 days, Kujit Naan Lejit, Dahnani Teaching, Ekpa Naantin. Even na arati practice na sin. Even na the ordinary basis in the it's in the palm of your hands. Go be not upon that teaching the sun and the moon. Adam Kojanana Dilyaha Pleiades. There's 7. It only comes up within certain times of the season. And it's not a year-round occurrence. Not like it just comes up maybe within the beginning of fall, around that fall equinox time, and then it goes into winter, then March, and it goes into about May. Once that's gone, that's when you begin planting, when those go away. There's a couple different variations of the story. The children, it goes into depending on that ceremonial aspect, depending on where you're at. So this is one big pipeline that has a lot of other little areas that can go. There's 2 stars that are near one another. Those are up there. They say there was 9 original stars in the Pleiades, but then because of an incident that occurred, 2 were left and 2 were told to leave. So that left the 7 here and the other 2 here. And there's a variation of a story again, depending upon how individuals are, some go into the counseling field. I guess with dealing with children, you can utilize those teachings in another area. But that's a whole other avenue. There was a Ahuyani, a young male, stood up. A slender warrior. I'm a protector, I'm a hunter. I'm going to go up there and protect them in that home, wherever they're at. And I'm going to be a protector to this earth and all that's around, above. That was his duty, that he went up. He went up there. I'm not sure what that would be called in English or the Western philosophy of astronomy, but the next that need yajin. After that, there's that 4 stars that's up there that represents a wise individual. That wise individual is a leader. The planning, the understanding, and he's always thinking. When you see the picture of him, he's pointing down, he's pointing. It's right there, it's right in front of you. What you need to know, what you need to understand is right there. You just got to go and approach and get it. As a leader. I can't do for you, but you have to do for yourself. That mentality. That's what he was put up there for. A old age. Astui sani. Nastas nilkiya. The elder. He has it up there. So he has that spirit of, okay, you're going to go through this occurrence of life. You're going to be young. Through the phases of your life, you're going to go and reach this old age. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. To set your goal to be there. 102 years old. To be in that capacity. To reach that and be there in full and vibrant. To see that and be in that. Issue with Adami Yajana. Ado Nana there's rabbit tracks. In the winter time, but if you go out there, you're herding sheep in the snow or you're on a horseback, you might see some tracks. These animals that are out, they have different tracks that represents what they are. It represents all wildlife on earth, all wildlife. So it has the impact of some are here that are with us in the corral, some are late, it represents all type of animal life in this world. Some of that, we'll see that in there. It's supposed to only be up here 7:30, but it's already 7:20, looks like. So, she's passing out those although in there, that's a star lab. In that star lab, it has imprinted images that rotates, and you'll see where these are located. There's two hemispheres, a southern hemisphere and a northern hemisphere. In Filipinas, we're on the northern hemisphere. These stories are only directly the life that we see in the sky. We're only able to see that up here. They put that underneath, on the other side of the earth sheet, in the southern hemisphere. I've never been down that way. If any of us went down that way, we might kind of be lost, because these songi, it's our livelihood. That was our Google Maps. That was our direction many, many years ago. Some of what we have, although to truly see and take in these in a winter night, in December, January, these lights that are around here causes light pollution. So you can't really see it if you go outside and stand out there in your duck slippers and try to look up there. You probably have to go out way up there on top of Sawmill, somewhere way secluded, to get the full effect of the night sky. The place I like to go and see that night sky in the wintertime is up there in Shanto, a place called Tall Mountain. And those stars is just like, they're just right here, right where the ceiling is. That's how far. It looks like that's where they're at. It's not. They come down. They have a spirit, they have a life in them. So, you'll see that it's not the starling that's going around this way. the real life that's out there. And there are stories of them moving around. They check on us, Jeanette. They check on us. Although they have that way to come on and see us and see how we're doing, Jeanette. So that's a whole different story. Within this time, I'm going to allow you guys some time to eat. I'm going to get that ready, and then we'll go ahead and go into that star lab. So, yeah, thank you all for sitting there listening, and I shared some of what's in here, out here. I'll share a little bit more and talk a little bit more about some more that's in there where you can see it.